Hi, friends. I'm titling today's episode of Elevate with Erica, Just Go For It. So, don't those words, even without me putting any context around them, don't they just perk you up a little bit? Like they just sound a little bit scary, they sound a little fun, and it kind of gets my mind going. Just go for it. So I just returned home from a few days away at a cabin on Deep Creek Lake in McHenry, Maryland. And I was staying there as a little family get together for my nephew's birthday. One of the things that I wanted to ask my sister, who lives about 3 hours away from me and who takes fitness classes often, was what do you like and dislike about the group fitness instructors that you've experienced, and like what matters to you, and what keeps you wanting to go back to a specific instructor, etc. So what I know what I was really doing by the end of our conversation, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What I was really doing is seeking reassurance that I have whatever those instructors have within them, within me. Reassurance that I can be a sought after group fitness instructor too. And we have a new coffee shop that's going to be opening up here locally in the next 30 days. And actually, this is the first time that I've talked about it publicly. It's more than just a coffee shop. They're going to have smoothies and smoothie bowls and those kinds of things, but it's also a surf shop and it has the cutest fitness studio in the back. It's a really cool concept. So think of it more as an exclusive upscale studio. That's the vibe that I'm already getting from it, and it's not even open yet. So think bar, Pilates, yoga, and then I'm coming in as your boot camp girl with the weightlifting and the HIIT training. This past spring, I was teaching a class a week at our neighborhood community center, but it was more of a low key. I never had over 10 people in there. It was just an entirely different vibe. No equipment was provided, no music was provided by the center, and it just attracted a very different demographic. And I had a great time, but ultimately, the time that I invested into the class structure and the music, et cetera, all the timing, all the work that I put into it, because I have high standards for myself, it just wasn't worth it financially. And with the big goals on my heart for the various ventures that I'm invested in and interested in getting invested in, I just knew that my time was better spent on other plans. But when I saw this new studio being built and met with one of the owners and got an understanding of what she's looking for, this opportunity felt much more aligned with my energy and the energy that I like to bring to my classes. So, yes, it's exciting and it's such a gorgeous space, you guys. I'm anxiously awaiting their opening date. But I would be lying if I said that I wasn't also scared, because there's this tiny voice in me telling me that I'm just too busy. I can't do it. Find someone else. Just so that I cannot have to do this thing that's scaring me. Why am I scared when I've earned my certifications for exactly this line of work? You can actually see two of my certifications behind me. I have two more that are down here on the floor that I haven't even hung up yet. I've earned my NASM certifications for exactly this line of work. And I've taught, well, yes, in a different kind of environment, but I've taught classes before. Well, that's exactly what I've been trying to figure out. And it's important when we get these moments in life where doing something that we haven't done before or normally wouldn't, or doing something on our bucket list, or we feel called to do, or that we feel scared to do, it's important in these moments that we don't let the fear stop us, but instead we get curious about it. Why does this feel scary to me? Is it just because I've never done it before? Well, that's great, right? Of course, I'm a little scared, but I don't need to let that stop me. The only way through that is to do it and to recognize that everyone has a day one. Every sought after fitness instructor had their first class. Isn't it is it because I'm afraid that I'm going to suck at it, which is a big one for me? Okay. Well, Erica, if you've never done it before, maybe it won't be perfect, right? Like, what are the expectations that I'm setting myself up for? Like, are they helping me or hurting me? And the only way to get better with something is to start doing it. Because here's the thing, friends, we only get better by showing up. And not just showing up when we feel 100% ready, but showing up even when we feel that little tug of uncertainty. And maybe even, dare I say, showing up because we feel that tug of uncertainty. As I've been reflecting on this, I realized that this fear, the one telling me that I might not be enough or that it's safer to not go do this thing that I've always felt tugging at me, is it actually something that I've faced before? And it is. Because whether it's been with this podcast or the new business opportunities that I've involved myself with, or even things that have happened in my personal life, I've been through this before. I've been through this cycle of fear, excitement, growth. Matter of fact, I think it's a cycle that you have to go through for the really important things that we're going to do with our lives. And each time going for it has taught me something valuable. I've realized that every time I let fear take the driver's seat, I miss out on new possibilities. But when I push past it, that's when the good stuff happens. So I've decided that I'm not letting fear sit in the driver's seat this time. I'm stepping into this new opportunity as a chance to grow, to get uncomfortable, and to serve people with the energy that I know I have inside of me. Serve people with my purpose and serve people with the calling that I know God has placed on my life. And when I think about it right now, I just got goosebumps. I know that this is the direction I'm supposed to go in, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. This is the season of trusting in the journey over needing perfection. And that is so tough for me. But I'm declaring this season of my life exactly that, a season of trusting in the journey over needing perfection in all areas of my life, from this all the way to even the rebuilding of my marriage that my husband and I have been doing over the past, it's been over a year now, since we had a rough go in 2023. But I want to trust the journey and where we're going. And I want to trust the journey and teaching at this brand new, ridiculously gorgeous studio opening up nearby over needing it to be perfect. Progress over perfection is a constant work in progress for me. And that's why it's been the topic of many of the episodes that I've done on the Elevate with Erica podcast. And I'm going to take you along with me as I dive into this new venture because I know I'm not the only one who needs to hear that we're ready, even when we don't feel like we are. So if you're listening today and there's something that's been nudging you, an idea or a calling, or even something that scares you a bit, remember that fear does not mean stop. And it often means that there's something worth exploring on the other side of it. So I want you to take these 3 simple steps to take that leap, okay? I want you to first acknowledge the fear. Don't ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist. Because when we do that, we can then create the habit of finding a lame excuse to not go for it. Like I was saying that I'm too busy, I just don't have the time. That's not true, right? My real fear with this is that I'm going to suck at it. Okay. So I want to name that. I want to call it out. I want to understand it. I want to understand why I think that another instructor has something within in them that I don't have within me, as if they never had a day one also. I want to realize that it's there because I'm about to grow when I step into this challenge. And I want to reframe failure. And instead of seeing failure as a dead end, to see it as a stepping stone. And that each step forward, each attempt is going to build me up to be the instructor that I aspire to be. I want you to take imperfect action, whatever that it is for you, start with the first step that you can take today, right now. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. My first class may not go perfectly, but gosh, I'm going to learn so much with that one and get better and more confident with each class. So thinking about it that way actually gets me excited for that first one that might not go well because I know I'm going to have so much to learn and take away from and build off of. So that's reframing that failure, right? So why do we let these fears and doubts hold us back? Because I've not won this battle every time in my life. Fear has stopped me in the past, and they've left me with regrets that I still have today. Two prime examples from my past are going away to Miami for college after getting accepted into FIU. I let the fear of moving away from home stop me, and I decided to attend a local college. I also quit the dance academy that I loved when I was a teenager because ballet was a requirement and I was only comfortable with jazz and tap as they came more naturally to me. And I didn't want to be the girl in the class who looked stupid. Why do we let these fears stop us from doing things that we really want to do? Often it's because we're wired to avoid discomforts, right? I mean, that's just how our brain is wired to keep us comfortable. And the unknown feels risky, like stepping onto a bridge that might not hold up. But here's something that I've learned. Every time I've taken that step, the bridge has always been there, even if I couldn't see it right away. It's like life itself is ready to meet us with support when we're brave enough to take that first step. So, what's come up for you today while listening to this episode? What's that thing that you're letting fear get in the way of? I want you to imagine just for a moment how it would feel to wake up a year from now knowing that you went for it, that you faced the uncertainty and the discomfort and you kept moving forward. You'll be a different version of yourself, one who knows how to rise above these moments of doubt. Because the truth is, every time we step into something new, we're not just building a skill, but we're shaping ourselves, and in turn, we're shaping our lives. So, whatever your goal is, whether it's a new job or launching a project or saying yes to an invitation or even saying no to something that's not serving you, I want you to commit to three things with me this week. I want you to visualize your why, because I want you to think about what brought you to this moment. What's the reason behind this calling? Who is going to benefit from your courage? Because when I think about teaching at this new studio, I imagine the people that I'm going to meet and the connections that I'm going to make and the impact that I'm going to have. But also selfishly, I think how great it's going to be for improving my own self-confidence and self-worth. So maybe your why is for personal growth, maybe it's for others, or maybe it's both. But I want you to visualize it and keep it close because it's going to be what keeps you anchored when the fear creeps in. I also want you to take one small step forward this week. One of the biggest mistakes we make is feeling like we have to leap into our dreams in one big jump, right? But what if it's just a small step today? So for me, it's going to be preparing a playlist and a workout flow in advance to feel ready for that first class. What's one small thing you can do today to get closer to your dream? I want you to write it down. I want you to schedule it in. I want you to pick smaller deadlines to hit along the way to the big goal and commit to it. Because we have to take ourselves and our dreams and our goals seriously, right? Excuse my language, but half-ass effort gets half-ass results. And lastly, I want you to reach out for support because I can't say enough about this. Community is such a powerful thing. And so many of us go through our fears alone. And you don't have to. I want you to reach out to someone who inspires you. Social media makes this so much easier. I want you to reach out to someone who's maybe in your shoes or who will hold you accountable to showing up. I want you to share your fears and get the encouragement that you need to keep going. And in fact, if you're listening today, I want you to send me a message on Instagram and tell me about your dream. You can find me at Miss_Erica_Renee. I want to cheer you on and remind you that we're all in this together. Remember, going for it doesn't mean that you have to feel fearless. It means you're allowing fear to come along for the ride, but you are staying in control. You're choosing to elevate above the doubt and the resistance and trust that on the other side of your fear is growth and joy and fulfillment and a version of you that freaking went for it. And that is so badass. I want you to meet that version of you. So here's my challenge to you over the next week. Think of one area where you've been holding back because of fear and make a commitment to yourself to take action on it. And I want you to tag me on social media or send me a message and share your progress. I'll be cheering you on every step of the way. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. Remember that the path of growth isn't always easy, but it's always, always worth it. And the best part is that you're not alone on this path. We're all here to support each other, lift each other up, and inspire one another to just freaking go for it. Until next time, keep rising up to the challenge, keep growing, and keep elevating, and just go for it.